This is Calls. We're going to talk about gemstones. Gemstones are found at the forge. So you go to craft, pulls up the craft interface, go to armory, upper right, right by the X, and then on the right hand side, gemstones. Go to that tab. So gemstones are basically used to augment your gear. You've got a couple different shapes that provide different buffs. So for example, this Hope Gem level 5 provides a lot of boosts to attack. So cavalry, distance, infantry, 30% increased attack. And then you have lesser gems here. So Stallion Gem does just cavalry. The Sentinel Gem does just infantry. And there's another one here, but it's a Scholar Iron Gem. So that reduces your research requirements on the iron. So anyway, the teardrop is defense. So ostensibly, this is going to be a specific defense, which I believe is cavalry, and it is. And then the other one, the blue teardrop, is, I believe, infantry. Yes, it is. And then the circle, oval looking one, is for health. As you can tell, I don't really have too many of those. And then the last one is, looks like research requirements for silver. I have very few square-shaped emeralds equipped in my gear. Embedded means that it's in my gear somewhere. I have a couple different sets. I have 2 sets. So I really like the Hope Gems because of the attack and the defense and the fact that it covers all 3, cavalry, distance, and infantry, and it's 30%. So if you get those things to level 5, that's really good. So the way it works is in your gear, you go to, say, the coat, scroll down, gemstone sockets. I didn't use any of the health ones because I don't have any Hope Gemstones. I was focusing most on attack and defense. So here's a great example. The cap has a gemstone that has a teardrop, a health, and then another teardrop. So this is like my defense piece. And then the weapon probably has the attack slot, which it does. If I get another Hope Gem that I can put in for attack, I'll likely replace that, because you can see the astronomical difference. Infantry attack 1.5% as opposed to infantry attack 30% plus distance, and cavalry also 30%. So this is basically what I use when I'm going to go and try and attack somebody or some beast or do some Red Guard raid. So let's talk about how you can upgrade gems. Let's go back to the forge and go to craft, to the armory, gemstones. So if you select the gemstone, I'm going to pick this arbitrary gemstone right here, which is, actually it's a Scholar Gem, so I could upgrade it. You go to the plus sign over here on the left, right here on EXP, and they have refining stones. So refining stones are kind of interesting. They have various levels of refining stones, so 1, 2, maybe 3, and they give basically EXP, which you can see over here on the right hand side. So refining stone level 1 gives 10, refining stone level 2 gives 40, and then you can also use existing gems that you otherwise would waste to add purity, which is about the same as what it would be for EXP. So purity and EXP, to my understanding, is about the same. So if I scroll the bar over, I get 590 plus the other 10 that I accidentally clicked down here on the Stallion Stone. And on the left hand side, you can see how going from level 1 to 2 is going to further reduce the research iron requirements from 0.75% to 1.5%. And I do believe that this is multiplicative. So if I were to take this thing from 2 to 3, provided that I have enough, it should go to 3%. But don't quote me on that. We'll find out right now. It does. Okay, so if I were to go from 3 to 4, it would go from 3% to 6%, and so on and so forth. So you use basically the refining stones to be able to make your gems stronger, and then you put those gems in your equipment, which you can embed. Remember, it's got to fit according to shape. So if I go back to my gear, and I'll show you here, we'll pick the amulet. You can't put a square in a circle. In fact, embarrassingly, I don't even have this one fully gemmed, so I should probably correct that, which I will. Now let's talk about fragments. The Hope Gems in particular require a particular number of fragments, so you can find them right about here. So raw Hope Gemstone fragment. If you get 100 of these, you can synthesize them and create a Hope Gemstone from which you can transmute at the alchemy lab, which I'll cover here in a second. I have found the best way to get fragments is to go to the spirit mines and redeem basically the shards that you get. In fact, I've already used it, but if I were to go here to the spirit mines, these are pretty cheap. You know, 1.7K, 1.8K, and I got 72, and I'm currently in a mine that's rated at around 24K per hour. You can very easily farm these, and I've got to wait 13 hours for it to reset. But typically, from the spirit mines, you can get 15 of these shards, and then once you get 100, you synthesize them, and then you create yourself a raw gemstone, which you go and transmute. So I'm going to use the transmute, but I'm going to use a terrible example in case you've never seen it before. You're just going to have to use your imagination. So this equipment design, when you hit use, you're going to go to this alchemy chamber, and you're going to aim for the plus sign, and it's really finicky. And then you're going to pick something that you're going to want to design. So instead of this gear for my creation, it's going to be for a gemstone, and you can pick one of 3 instead of like one of many as you're seeing here. Then you lob it in there, it creates, and then there you have it. You have your gemstone, depending on what it is. So that's basically it. Gemstones, they can come from loot, they can come from beasts, possibly raids, but they are instrumental for augmenting your attack and allowing you to do some crazy insane damage or crazy insane defense. And I hope this kind of answers some rudimentary questions that you all may have, because this is something that I honestly overlooked. I didn't really pay much attention to it, and rightfully so. At lower levels, you're really not going to be getting a lot of gemstones, much less know what to do with them, but it's pretty easy to figure out once you're there. So, all right, this is Calls. Good luck. I'm signing off.